My hands won't stop shaking. I'm staring at my father through the candlelight. 60 candles burning on his birthday cake. Relatives laughing around the table. My brother smirking at me like he always does. And tonight, I'm going to destroy everything they believe in. Marcus, you still playing around with computers? Dad's voice cuts through the noise. The table goes quiet, waiting for my answer, waiting to laugh. I force a smile. Something like that. My brother leans back in his chair. Designer suit. Perfect hair. Some of us have real careers, little brother. Everyone chuckles. Mum touches his shoulder, pride in her eyes. I grip my wine glass tighter. The Forbes article is burning a hole in my pocket. 15 million pounds burning a hole in my silence. Not yet. Not yet. Let me take you back. Show you how we got here. Short Hills, New Jersey. Picture-perfect houses. Manicured lawns. Parents pushing their kids like they are training champions. Our house looked perfect from the outside. Colonial style. White pillars. The kind of place that screams success. Inside, different story. My father, Joseph Mitchell. Physics professor. Brilliant mind. Cold heart. He graded papers the way he graded his sons. Hash, precise, unforgiving. My mother, Kimberly. She used to run her own interior design business. Used to have dreams. Then she gave it all up. For him. For his career. Her sketches gathered dust in the attic while she attended his department meetings. And my brother, Daniel Mitchell. 2 years older. 2 years better at everything that mattered to them. He absorbed facts like a sponge. Straight A's without trying. Dad would light up when Daniel brought home perfect scores. New books. Special dinners. His room filled with trophies. My room stayed empty. I was different. Creative. I saw patterns where others saw chaos. In kindergarten, I organized trading games with the other kids. Little economies. My teacher called me innovative. Dad asked if I could count properly. 4th grade. I stayed up for weeks teaching myself to code. Built my first program. It sorted numbers automatically. I ran home. Burst through the door. Dad, look what I made. He glanced at my paper. Pushed his glasses up. Better than usual. Marcus, keep practicing. For 1 second, I thought I'd finally done it. Finally impressed him. Then Daniel walked in. Perfect score on his physics quiz. The teacher said I got the hardest question right. No one else did. Dad's face transformed. Beaming. Outstanding, Daniel. This natural aptitude will open doors for you. He turned to me. Why can't you apply yourself like your brother? Mom stood in the doorway. I saw sympathy in her eyes, but she said nothing. Just squeezed my shoulder late at dinner, while Dad spent the entire meal praising Daniel's answers. That became the pattern. Daniel's perfect grades earned privileges. Extra allowance. Later bedtimes. Freedom. I excelled in creative subjects. Built apps for fun. Struggled with rote memorization. Solid BS meant try harder in our house. 6th grade. Tech fair. I created a weather prediction project. Real algorithms. Data from local stations. Beyond what most kids could do. Daniel submitted a circuit board from a kit. Standard stuff. Everyone used them. His won first place. Your project was interesting, Marcus, Dad said on the drive home. But science demands accuracy, not guesses. Daniel's ribbon sat on the dashboard. Mine crumpled in my backpack. What they didn't see was my growing obsession with tech investments. Age 10, I started reading Dad's discarded newspapers. Tracking patterns. Startups. Venture capital. How innovative apps solve problems and boosted stock values. One morning at breakfast, I shared my insight. Dad, that company in the news could skyrocket. It fixes a problem no one else has addressed. He folded his paper. Amused. What do you know about markets? Marcus. I explained my reasoning. Patterns I'd spotted. Companies like that usually rise 20% in 6 months after launch. It happened exactly as I predicted. I showed him the article. See? I was right. Lucky guess. he said, then turned to quiz Daniel on his upcoming test. That dismissal changed something in me. I started hiding a notebook under my bed, simulating investments with fake money, building a secret world where I wasn't a disappointment. Then came the scholarship letter. 6th grade. My tech teacher recommended me for a special STEM Academy program. Prestigious. Partial funding. The letter arrived while I was at school. I never saw it. Daniel intercepted it, hid it in his room, kept me from outshining him. I didn't learn this until years later. At the time, I thought I'd been rejected. Dad refused to pay for extra tutoring. We need to focus resources on Daniel's potential. He's heading to top schools. Mom nodded along, her own shelved dreams reflected in the family's priorities. I kept moving forward. Library books on coding, market analysis. By age 11, I could spot trends in tech stocks, how social apps change user behavior. Daniel found my notebook once, snatched it during a fight. This is stupid. You'll never be the bright one like me. His words cut deep. Dad overheard, laughed it off. Is right, Marcus. Stick to basics. That night, I made a vow. I'd prove them wrong. Started a secret log of predictions that would one day build my empire. Teenage years hit hard, thought I was obsessed with tracking tech trends. Sneaking Dad's business magazines. It was 2005. MySpace was exploding. I spent hours analyzing why some startups soared while others crashed. One morning, I noticed a small company building a group messaging app. Nobody was paying attention yet, but I saw its potential. This could be huge in 6 months. I told Mom over breakfast. It solves a real problem. She stirred her coffee, barely looked up. Sounds risky. Marcus, focus on your schoolwork. Daniel smirked across the table. Yeah, stick to something you're actually good at. I bit my tongue, kept tracking. 6 months later, that app stock jumped 25%. I showed Mom the article. See? Nice guess, she said, then asked Daniel about his debate practice. School became my proving ground. 9th grade tech club. Teaching myself to code from free online tutorials. My projects weren't flashy. Simple apps for tracking homework. Sharing notes. But they worked. My tech teacher, Mr. Collins, noticed. Marcus, you've got a knack for seeing what's next in tech. Keep at it. First time an adult saw something in me beyond try harder. At home, it was always Daniel's show. Debate competitions. Trophies piling up in the living room. Dad attended every match. Clapped loudest when Daniel crushed opponents. My coding projects? Barely mentioned. 11th grade. Regional tech competition. My shot to shine. I spent months on an AI project. A chatbot that predicted user preferences based on search history. Rough, but ahead of its time for a high schooler in 2007. I poured everything into it. Testing late into the night. Fueled by the idea of finally earning respect. When I made the finals, I raced to tell my parents. Dad, Mom, I'm in the regional tech finals. Dad looked up from his laptop. That's nice, Marcus. When is it? I told him the date, voice shaking with excitement. Mom frowned. That's the same day as Daniel's state debate finals. It's crucial for his university applications. They chose his event without hesitation. I competed alone, presented to a packed auditorium. Hands sweaty but steady. My chatbot took first place. Beat projects from private school kids with better resources. I called home. Mom answered. I won, Mom. Her voice was distracted. That's great, darling. Daniel got second in debate. Such a close call. My trophy went into my wardrobe, untouched. That same year, Daniel did something that cut deeper than anything before. I'd shared my chatbot idea with him months earlier, hoping for once he'd be impressed. Instead, he stole it, used my concept for his own project at a national coding contest, tweaked it just enough, changed the interface, kept the core algorithm, submitted it as his own work. His version won second place, feature in the school paper, another round of praise from Dad. Daniel's branching into tech now, Dad bragged at a family barbecue. Relatives nodded, impressed. I stood there stunned. My own work stolen right under my nose. When I confronted him in his room, he laughed. "You're never the bright one, Marcus. I just made it better." His words hit like a slap. Worse because he knew exactly what he'd done. I wanted to scream, but I kept quiet, my anger simmering into resolve. The final straw came during university application season. I applied to 7 schools, including Dad's alma mater, top-tier university with a strong tech program. My grades were solid, A's in computer science, BS in sciences. Competition when gave me a shot. Daniel, of course, aimed for Harvard, debate record, perfect grades, golden ticket. When my rejection letter from Dad's school arrived, I hid it, crushed, not surprised. At dinner, Dad cleared his throat. "I heard you didn't make my university, Marcus." I froze, fork in hand. "Yeah, but I got into state with a partial scholarship." He scoffed. "State takes anyone. Their tech programs are average at best." I pushed back, heat in my cheeks. "It's actually top rank for AI research." Mom cut in, voice soft but firm. "Marcus, we can't afford 2 children at expensive schools. Daniel's Harvard acceptance is a priority." They'd pay for him. I was on my own. That night, I lay awake, their words looping in my head. Daniel's theft, their dismissal, the way they'd chosen him over me. Again, and again, and again. I'd been hiding my potential for years, scribbling predictions in my notebook, tracking stocks nobody else noticed. My latest prediction, a small AI startup poised to disrupt online retail, had just doubled in value. I didn't tell them. Instead, I started planning. They'd underestimated me my whole life, but I'd make them see. Not now, not tomorrow, but when the moment was right. I'd show them what I could do. I swore to myself I'd build something so massive they couldn't ignore it. Success that would hit harder than any argument. My secret portfolio grew, and with it, my determination to prove them wrong. University application season, 2008. Brutal .7 schools, including Dad's alma mater. Strong grades. Regional tech win. Edge on paper. The rejection letter hit like a punch. "We regret to inform you." I sat on my bed, staring at the words, stomach twisting. I didn't tell my parents. Knew they'd brush it off. When I mentioned State University's partial scholarship for their AI-focused tech program, Mom barely looked up. "That's fine, Marcus, but it's not exactly prestigious." Dad nodded. "We are putting our money towards Daniel's Harvard tuition. Better investment." Their words stung, but I'd expected it. I packed my bags with a few thousand I'd saved from summer jobs. Left for State, determined to prove them wrong on my own. State's campus was a mix of old brick buildings and shiny new labs. A place where I could finally breathe. Nobody knew me as Daniel's lesser brother. My flatmate, Tom Richardson, became my lifeline. Marketing major. Sharp wit. Zero patience for family nonsense. One night over late-night instant noodles in our flat, I spilled the story. Daniel's betrayals. My parents' favoritism. Tom leaned forward. Eyes fierce. "Mate, forget them. Build something they can't ignore." His words lit a fire in me. I decided to keep my progress secret. Save my success for the right moment. My first computer science class introduced me to Professor Jennifer Bennett, former AI researcher, worked at a major tech firm. She didn't teach from dusty textbooks. She brought real-world problems, predicting app adoption rates based on user data. During a group project, I suggested an algorithm that factored in social media trends, not just raw numbers. It outperformed everyone else's models. After class, Professor Bennett pulled me aside. "Marcus, your approach is unconventional, but it's brilliant. You see patterns others miss." She handed me a stack of books: Tech Investing, Venture Capital Strategies, Startup Case Studies. I devoured them, nights in the library, mapping market trends. That summer, I worked at a coffee shop near campus, tech-heavy area, serving coders and startup founders. The manager, Angela, noticed me reading tech blogs during breaks. "You into this stuff?" "Yeah." She started sharing tips. How small investments could grow. Spotting early-stage startups with potential. Inspired, I took £2,000 from my savings. Invested in a little-known AI startup focused on personalized shopping. Risk? But my research showed their tech solved a gap bigger firms ignored. 8 months later, their stock tripled. Major retailers signed on. My $2,000 turned into $6,000. Enough to cover semester's books and fees. My portfolio grew to $50,000 by junior year. All hidden from my family. The real turning point came when I found a letter. Weekend visit home. Cleaning out my old desk. Discovered a crumpled envelope tucked behind a drawer. The STEM Academy scholarship offer. From 6th grade. The one Daniel had hidden. My hand shook as I read it. Full funding. Top program. Chance to study with the best. He'd stolen it. Kept me in his shadow. The betrayal burned hotter than ever. Crystallizing my plan. I wouldn't just succeed. I'd make them face their mistake when the moment hit hardest. I started tracking my family's lives through mutual friends. Learning Daniel was aiming for a law firm job after Harvard. I kept my own path quiet. Telling my parents I was studying computers when they bothered to ask. Which was rare. After sophomore year, I landed an internship at a small New York tech firm, analyzing startup pitches for investors. My mentor, William Ward, senior analyst, fought his way up in the male-heavy industry. Tech's a tough field for anyone outside the old boys club. He warned me on my first day. You'll need to be sharper than everyone else. I thought of Daniel's theft, my parents' dismissal. I've been ready for years. William taught me how to pitch to skeptical investors, navigate boardroom egos, trust my instincts on market shifts. My first big call was recommending a niche AI company focused on data privacy. The firm ignored it, called it too speculative. I invested $10,000 from my portfolio. 6 months later, that company's stock soared 200%. Government contract. My colleagues started noticing me, but I stayed low-key, saving my win for myself. By senior year, I was running a small investment club with classmates, pooling $5,000 to test my strategies. AI startups. My mix of market data and social trend analysis. Our fund grew 40% in a year. Caught the eye of the campus newspaper. I didn't send the article home. Instead, I kept building my portfolio, reinvesting every pound, planning for the day I'd face my family. Tom caught me late one night, staring at that old scholarship letter. "You're really going to make them regret this, aren't you?" I smiled, resolve hardening. Wait until they see what I built. I pictured the moment. Some big family event. Their faces when they learned the truth. That scholarship theft wasn't just a betrayal. It was fuel for my revenge. I swore I'd reveal everything when it would hit them hardest. When their perfect image would crack wide open. After graduating with honors in computer science, 2012, I moved to New York. Dove head first into the tech world. First job, entry-level analyst, mid-size investment firm, evaluating AI startups for senior partners. Most of my colleagues came from Ivy League schools. Confidence backed by fancy degrees and family connections. They sized me up, state grad, off-brand trainers, dismissed me as out of my league. I kept my head down, used the skills I'd honed at university. 3 months in, I spotted a pattern in user data. Screamed potential for an AI-driven advertising platform. I pitched it to the team, blending market metrics with social media trends. The senior partner, Jonathan Grant, raised an eyebrow. Interesting, Marcus, but too risky for our clients. They went with safer bets. I invested $15,000 of my own money in that platform. 6 months later, it landed a deal with a major ad agency. Stock surged 250%. My portfolio hit $100,000. I didn't say a word. That quiet win set the stage. I climbed the ranks fast. Senior analyst by 26. Youngest in the firm. My approach, mixing hard data with cultural shifts, caught Jonathan's eye. He started pulling me into high-stakes meetings. I advised on deals that outperformed the market by 30%, built a reputation for spotting what others missed. By 28, I took a leap. Launched Tech Insight, my own investment firm focused on AI startups nobody else dared touch. I poured $800,000 of my savings into it, working 18-hour days in a tiny Brooklyn office. First year was brutal, pitching to skeptical clients who questioned my age and background. Then Eric Blackwell, a tech founder who'd sold his company for $40 million, took a chance on me. "I like how you think outside the box," he said, handed me $5 million to invest. My strategy paid off. Grew his portfolio 50% in a year. Word spread. Tech Insight's client list exploded. By 2025, we managed $1 billion in assets. My personal net worth hit $15 million. I bought a sleek Manhattan flat. Views of the Hudson. But nobody back home knew I kept my family in the dark. On visits to Short Hills, I rented cheap compact cars. Wore plain jumpers to blend in. My parents still saw me as the kid who messed around with computers. Daniel had graduated Harvard Law, landed a job at a corporate firm, but I heard through mutual friends his career was stalling. Lost key clients, racked up credit card debt to keep up his polished image, scrambling to maintain the golden child aura. My parents didn't notice, still gushing about his law school pedigree at every holiday dinner. They barely asked about my work. Once, over Thanksgiving, Dad glanced at me across the table. "Still doing that computer stuff, Marcus?" I nodded, dodging details. "Something like that." Mom chimed in. "Daniel's handling a big case now. Such a demanding job." I smiled tightly, already planning. Through Tom, my university friend, I kept tabs on my family's situation. He'd stayed close to mutual acquaintances in Short Hills. Passed along news. Daniel's firm was downsizing. He was on thin ice after losing another client. My parents' house needed major repairs. Leaky roof. Outdated wiring. They were strapped for cash. Even talking about taking out a loan. Tom texted me one night. "Your brother's drowning in debt. Your parents are clueless." I sat in my flat, staring at the message, a plan crystallizing. My father's 60th birthday dinner was coming up. Big family event. Relatives and colleagues. The perfect stage. They'd built their whole image around Daniel's success, oblivious to his cracks and my empire. I'd waited years for this. Since the stolen scholarship, the copied code, the dismissed dreams. This was my moment to break their illusion. I started preparing. Pulled up Tech Insight's performance reports. Screenshots of my Forbes feature as the AI investment king. Double-checked my net worth numbers. Every visit home, I'd played small. Let my parents call my work fiddling with stocks. Or as Mom once said in a rare phone call, "Why don't you get a stable job like Daniel?" She was oblivious to my billion-pound firm. I didn't correct her. Instead, I bought a tailored suit for the dinner. One that screamed success without saying a word. Booked a luxury rental car. Not the usual beat-up sedan. Tom called me the week before. "You're really doing this, aren't you? Blowing it all up." I laughed, voice steady. They've had it coming for years. Daniel's struggles. My parents' blind favoritism. Their crumbling finances. It all lined up. The birthday dinner would be their stage. But my spotlight, I'd reveal everything. Not just to prove them wrong, but to make them feel the weight of their choices. I pulled into my parents' driveway. The sleek lines of my luxury rental. Stark contrast to the cheap cars I'd driven on past visits. My tailored suit hugged my frame. Silent signal of the truth I'd hidden for years. Tonight was Dad's 60th birthday dinner. Big affair. Relatives and colleagues packed into their colonial home. I'd planned this moment since I found that stolen scholarship letter. Since Daniel copied my code. Since my parents dismissed my dreams. My £15 million empire was ready to shatter their perfect family facade. Inside, the dining room buzzed with chatter. Mom greeted me with a quick hug. Smile warm but distracted. "Marcus, so glad you made it." Dad nodded from the head of the table. already deep in conversation about Daniel's latest law firm case. My brother sat across from me, polished in his designer suit, playing the golden child. I sipped my wine, waiting. The small talk dragged. Relatives asking about my computer job. Dad brushing it off with, "Marcus is still tinkering with that stuff." Then Daniel leaned forward, voice sharp, still chasing those tech dreams. "Marcus." He paused, smirked. "You're not good enough to be the bright one in this family." The room erupted in laughter, my parents joining in, their chuckles slicing through me. My hands clenched under the table, but I forced a tight smile, heart pounding with the weight of what was coming. Before I could respond, Kyle Evans, Tom's friend and a colleague of Daniel's, paused mid-bite. "Wait." Marcus Mitchell from Tech Insight. The table went quiet. He pulled out his phone, scrolling. "You're the AI investment king from Forbes, right?" I nodded, pulse racing. "That's me." Kyle turned his screen, showing my cover photo. Manhattan skyline behind me. "This says your firm manages £1 billion. Is that true?" The A shifted, eyes darting to me. Mom's fork froze. Dad brow furrowed. Daniel's smile vanished. I stood, voice steady. Tech Insight is my company. I founded it. We manage £1 billion in assets. And my personal net worth is £15 million. Gasps rippled through the room. Dad tried to recover. "Marcus, you never said anything about this." I cut him off. Years of suppressed anger rising. "I didn't hide it. You never asked. You were too busy praising Daniel to notice." I turned to my brother. "You stole my scholarship in 6th grade, kept me down. You copied my AI code in secondary school to win your little contest." His face flushed. I faced my parents. "You refused to pay for my university because Daniel's Harvard was a better investment. You called my work a waste every chance you got." Daniel's voice cracked. "That's not fair, Marcus. You were never good enough to compete with me." Mom reached for his hand. "Darling, let's not escalate." But I wasn't done. "You're drowning in debt, Daniel. I know about your lost clients, your firm's layoffs. You needed that golden child image to survive." I turned to my parents. "Your house is falling apart. You're begging for loans. I could fix it all with one check, but I won't." Relatives shifted uncomfortably. Whisper starting. Dad's voice was sharp. "Why would you hide this and embarrass us now?" I laughed. "Bitter? Embarrass you? You embarrassed me my whole life." Laughing when Daniel called me worthless. I set my glass down. The clink echoed. "Here's my offer. Apologize right now, in front of everyone, for dismissing me, for choosing him, for everything." Pause. Or I walk out, and we are done forever. Daniel's eyes welled up, but his voice was venom. I was jealous. "All right, you were always so smug with your tech nonsense, but I'm still the one they love." Mom gasped, tears streaming. "Marcus, we didn't know." Dad stood, defensive. "We did what we thought was best for both of you." I shook my head. "You did what was best for your egos." Pause. "No apology. Then, we are finished." I grabbed my jacket, walked out, their stunned silence trailing me. My shoes clicked on the driveway as I reached my car, the weight of years lifting off my shoulders. I didn't look back. Months later, Tom texted me updates. My parents sold their house to cover debts, moved to a cramped flat. Daniel's firm sacked him after his latest client loss hit the news. Scandal that tanked his reputation. Relatives stopped inviting them to gatherings. Humiliated by the truth. I felt no guilt, only freedom. This journey taught me a hard lesson. Toxic families don't get to define your worth. I built my empire despite their betrayal. Cutting them off set me free. Daniel's jealousy. My parents' favoritism. They were chains I broke by believing in myself. My advice? Watch for hidden envy, even from those closest to you. It can destroy relationships if you let it. Define your own value. Chase your dreams. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not tear you down. That's the real path to success in a world quick to judge. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's building something so magnificent they can't help but see what they lost. And sometimes, the only way to win is to walk away from a game rigged against you from the start. But this isn't where my story ends. It's where it truly begins. 3 months after walking out of that dinner, I sat in my Manhattan office. Floor-to-ceiling windows. City stretched out beneath me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then something made me answer. Marcus. A woman's voice. Shaking. It's Aunt Claire. My father's sister. The only relative who'd ever been kind to me as a kid. Aunt Claire. I wasn't expecting. I need to see you. Please. It's important. Her tone stopped me cold. Not pleading. Urgent. We met at a quiet cafe in Greenwich Village. She looked older than I remembered. Tired. She slid an envelope across the table. What's this? Letters, she said, from your grandmother. She died when you were 8. Do you remember? I nodded. Vague memories of a gentle woman who always had sweets in her pockets. She left these for you. Your father was supposed to give them to you on your 18th birthday. He never did. My hands trembled as I opened the envelope. 3 letters. Handwritten. Dated. The first one made my breath catch. My dearest Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. But I need you to know something your father will never tell you. You remind me of myself. Creative. Different. I see how Joseph treats you. How he favors Daniel. It breaks my heart. I was like you once. I wanted to be an artist. Your grandfather crushed that dream. Said art was frivolous. Pushed me toward teaching instead. I spent 40 years resenting him for it. Don't let your father do the same to you. I've set up a trust fund in your name. £20,000. It's not much, but it's yours when you turn 18. Use it for your dreams, whatever they are. Don't let them dim your light, my darling boy. All my love, Grandma Rose. I looked up at Aunt Claire. £20,000. Your father knew about it. He kept it from you. Told me you weren't responsible enough. That you'd waste it. My jaw clenched. Where's the money now? Still in the trust. With interest, it's grown to nearly 40,000. I'm the trustee. I can release it to you today. £40,000. When I was 18, that could have changed everything. Covered university costs. Given me a head start. Why are you telling me this now? Claire's eyes filled with tears. Because I should have done it years ago. Your father convinced me you'd squander it. But after what happened at the birthday dinner, I realized the truth. He never wanted you to succeed. He was threatened by you. Threatened? By his own son. Marcus, your father's entire identity is built on being the smartest man in the room. Daniel was safe. He followed the script. You were unpredictable. Brilliant in ways he couldn't control. That terrified him. I sat back, processing. There's more, Claire said. Your mother's design business. She didn't give it up voluntarily. What do you mean? Joseph sabotaged it. Told her clients she was unreliable. Scheduling conflicts. Made her miss meetings. She lost 3 major contracts in 1 month. Her reputation tanked. She had no choice but to quit. The words hit like a punch. Why would he do that? Control? She was becoming successful. Getting recognition. He couldn't handle it. Same reason he crushed you. Same reason he propped up Daniel. Your father needs to be the center of attention. Always. I thought about Mom. Her quiet sadness. The way she looked at me with sympathy but never defended me. She knew? Claire nodded. On some level, yes. But admitting it meant admitting she'd wasted her life. Easier to go along with it. Convince herself she chose it. I felt sick. Angry. But also something else. Clarity, this wasn't just about me. It was a pattern. Dad destroyed anyone who threatened his ego. Why didn't you tell me this before? Fear, Claire admitted. Joseph's my brother. Family loyalty felt more important than truth. But watching you walk out that night, I realized loyalty means nothing if it protects cruelty. She pushed the envelope closer. The money's yours. And Marcus, your grandmother would be so proud of you. I took the £40,000, added it to my investment portfolio. But the letters changed something deeper. For years, I'd carried the weight of not being good enough, believing something was wrong with me. Now I understood. It was never about me. It was about him. I started digging into my father's past. Called old colleagues, former students. The pattern was everywhere. A brilliant PhD student who'd challenged Dad's research suddenly failed his thesis defense. A junior professor who'd published a groundbreaking paper. Dad forgot to include a name on a follow-up study. A teaching assistant who'd questioned his methods. Fired within a month. My father wasn't just strict. He was cruel, systematically destroying anyone who might outshine him. And Daniel? He wasn't the golden child. He was a controlled child. The one Dad could mold. The one who'd never threaten him. I thought about my brother. His panic at the dinner. The way he'd lashed out. He wasn't my enemy. He was another victim. That realization didn't excuse what he'd done. Stealing my scholarship. Copying my code. But it reframed it. He'd been taught that love was conditional. That he had to compete for scraps of approval. That crushing me kept him safe. It didn't make it right. But it made it understandable. 6 months after the dinner, I received an email. Subject, I'm sorry, sender, Daniel Mitchell. I stayed it for 10 minutes before opening. Marcus, I don't expect you to read this. I don't expect forgiveness. I just need to say it. I was wrong. About everything. After you left that night, everything fell apart. The firm let me go. My debts caught up. I had to move back in with Mom and Dad. Living there again, I started seeing things clearly. How Dad treats everyone. How he's always treated me. I've been in therapy for 3 months now. Working through a lot. My therapist helped me understand something. I was never the golden child. I was a performing monkey. Dad didn't love me more. He just found me more useful. I stole your opportunities because I was terrified. If you succeeded, I'd lose the only thing that made me valuable. His approval. I know that doesn't excuse it. I hurt you. Badly. Repeatedly. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking for a relationship. I just want you to know I see it now. You were always the brave one. You built something real. Something yours. I've been living Dad's life, not mine. I'm trying to figure out who I am without his voice in my head. It's harder than I thought. I'm sorry, Marcus, for all of it. Daniel, I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to delete it. Block him. Move on. But another part remembered something. We were close once. When we were kids. Before the competition. Before Dad turned us against each other. I remembered building blanket forts together. Sharing secrets. Daniel teaching me how to ride a bike. Before it all went wrong. I didn't respond that day. Or the next week. Or the month after. But I didn't delete it either. Tom found me at my office late one night. Whiskey in hand. Staring at that email. You're thinking about replying, aren't you? I shrugged. Maybe. Why? Because I'm tired, Tom. Tired of being angry. Tired of carrying this. He hurt you. I know, but staying angry is hurting me more. Tom sat down. So what are you going to do? I don't know yet. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Doesn't mean letting him back in. But maybe it means letting go. That's very mature of you, Tom said. Disgustingly mature, actually. I laughed. First real laugh in months. Here's the thing, I continued. Revenge felt good in the moment. Watching their faces. Walking out. But now, I feel empty. Success not enough. Success is great, but it doesn't fill the hole. That's the thing about revenge. It's hollow. You get the satisfaction, but then what? Tom nodded. So what does fill the hole? I think building something that matters. Not to prove them wrong. Just to prove myself right. And your brother? I sighed. I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe eventually we talk. But not now. Not yet. Fair enough. A year passed. Tech Insight continued growing. £20 million portfolio. Features in major publications. Speaking engagements. Success on my terms. I started a scholarship fund for kids from non-traditional backgrounds. Kids whose families didn't believe in them. Kids like I'd been. Named at the Rose Mitchell Memorial Scholarship. After my grandmother. First year, we awarded £50,000 to 10 students. Their essays broke my heart. Stories of parents who dismissed them. Siblings who undermined them. Teachers who didn't see their potential. At the award ceremony, I gave a speech. I know what it's like to be underestimated. To have your dreams called foolish. To be the disappointment. I looked at those kids. Their hopeful faces. But here's what I learned. Their doubt says nothing about you. It says everything about their limitations. Pause. You don't need their approval to succeed. You just need your own belief. And sometimes, that's the hardest thing to hold on to. One girl raised a hand. 16. Bright eyes. What if you stop believing in yourself? I smiled. Then you fake it until you remember. You keep moving forward even when you're terrified. Because standing still means they win. After the ceremony, she came up to me. Mr. Mitchell, thank you. My dad says I'm wasting my time with coding. Says girls aren't good at it. My chest tightened. What's your name? Amira. Amira, let me tell you something. My father said I'd never amount to anything. My brother stole my work. My family laughed at my dreams. What did you do? I proved them wrong. Not loudly. Not with anger. Just by building something that mattered. And you know what? Eventually, their voices got quieter. Because mine got louder. She smiled. I want that. Then take it. The scholarship covers your university. Use it. Build something amazing. Then come back and tell me about it. I will. Watching her walk away, I felt something shift. This mattered more than any revenge. More than any confrontation. This was legacy. 18 months after the dinner, I received another email. My mother. Marcus, I know I have no right to contact you. But I need to say this before I lose my courage. I'm divorcing your father. I stopped breathing. Aunt Claire showed me the letters. From your grandmother. I knew about the trust fund. Joseph convinced me it was for your own good. I believed him. Or I wanted to believe him. Because admitting the truth meant admitting I'd failed you. After you left, I couldn't unsee it anymore. How he controlled everything. How he crushed anyone who shone too bright. He did it to me. To you. To his colleagues. To Daniel. I'm ashamed I let it happen. I'm ashamed I didn't protect you. I'm moving to Brighton. Starting over. A friend offered me a position at her design firm. My first client work in 15 years. I'm terrified, but also excited. I don't expect you to forgive me, Marcus. I don't deserve it, but I want you to know I see it now. I see what he did. What I allowed. You were right to walk away. I should have years ago. I love you. I always have, even when I failed to show it. Mom, I sat with that email for days. Anger, sadness, but also something unexpected. Relief. She'd finally broken free. I wrote back, short, careful, Mom. I'm glad you're leaving. You deserve better. I'm not ready for a relationship yet. Too much hurt. Too many years. But I hope your design business thrives. You have talent. You always did. Maybe someday we can talk. Not now, but someday. Marcus. Her response came within an hour. That's more than I hoped for. Thank you. Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready. 2 years after the dinner, I was invited to speak at Harvard Business School. Ironic. The university my brother attended. The one my family valued above all else. I accepted. The lecture hall was packed. Students, professors, industry professionals. I spoke about unconventional paths to success. About trusting your instincts when everyone doubts you. Afterwards, during the reception, someone approached me. Daniel. He looked different. Thinner. Older. but also lighter somehow. Marcus. Daniel. Awkward silence. I didn't know you'd be here, he said. I saw the lecture advertised. Wanted to hear you speak. What did you think? Brilliant, as always. He smiled, said, I never told you that, did I? That you were brilliant. No, I'm sorry. For that, for everything. I nodded. I got your email, the one from last year. I didn't think you'd read it. I did, just took me a while to process. Another silence, less awkward. How are you? I asked. Better. I left law, working at non-profit now. Education access, helping kids from disadvantaged backgrounds get into university. I raised an eyebrow. That's unexpected. Therapy, he said with a small laugh. Turns out when you strip away Dad's expectations, you discover what you actually care about. And what's that? Giving kids the chances we should have given you. Chances Dad stole from you. Something in my chest loosened. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Daniel continued. But I wanted you to know. I'm trying to be better. To do better. I studied him, searching for manipulation. 4 angles. Found none. Just genuine regret. I believe you. His eyes widened. You do? Yeah. Doesn't mean we are okay. Doesn't mean we are brothers again. But I believe you're trying. That's more than I deserve. Probably, I agreed, but maybe that's the point. We don't heal by giving people what they deserve. We heal by choosing what we need. And what do you need? I thought about it. Closure. Understanding. A world where the next generation doesn't have to fight the battles we did. Daniel nodded slowly. Your scholarship fund. The Rose Mitchell thing. That's incredible, Marcus. It matters to me. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. Do you think we'll ever be brothers again? Real brothers, not competitors. I sighed. I don't know, Daniel. Maybe, but it'll take time. Years, probably. And it requires you doing the work. Not just apologizing. Actually changing. I understand. I'm committed to that. Then maybe someday. Not today, but someday. He extended his hand. Thank you for not slamming the door completely. I shook it. Thank you for finally seeing it. As he walked away, Tom appeared at my elbow. That was big of you. Aw, stupid. Nah, takes strength to leave the door open, even a crack. We'll see. 3 years after the dinner, my father had a stroke. Minor, but enough to shake him. Aunt Claire called. His asking for you. Why would I visit him? I don't know, but I think he's scared. Facing mortality does that. I'll think about it. I didn't go immediately. Made him wait 3 weeks. When I finally showed up at the hospital, he looked small, fragile. Nothing like the giant who'd loomed over my childhood. Marcus. His voice was weak. Dad. Silence. Thank you for coming. I shrugged. Aunt Claire asked. More silence. Uncomfortable. I've been thinking, he said slowly, about my life. My choices. Have you? I wasn't a good father to you. No, you weren't. He flinched. Good? I don't know how to apologize for that. Then don't. Apologies without understanding mean nothing. You're right. He looked at his hands. I was threatened by you. Your aunt told me she explained that to you. She did. It's true. You were brilliant in ways I couldn't control, couldn't predict. It terrified me. So you crushed me instead. Yes. His voice cracked. I did, and I lost you because of it. I lost my son. You lost me long before the dinner. Dad, you lost me every time you chose Daniel. Every time you laughed at my dreams. Every time you called me not good enough. Tears slipped down his face. First time I'd ever seen him cry. I know. I can't undo that. Can't fix it. But I want you to know something. What? You were right. About everything. Your instincts. Your path. Your success. You proved me wrong in every way that mattered. I waited. Said nothing. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he continued. I know I don't deserve that, but I needed you to hear it from me. You were never the problem, Marcus. I was. I looked at this broken man, the one who'd ruled my childhood with an iron fist, the one who'd made me question my worth for 20 years. And I felt nothing. No anger. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. Okay. You're right. You can't fix it. And I don't forgive you. But I accept your admission. That's all. What else do you want, Dad? A tearful reconciliation? That's not happening. You destroyed too much. He nodded. Defeated. I stood to leave. Marcus. What? I read about your scholarship fund. In the paper. And your grandmother would be proud. I paused at the door. I know. That's why I did it. 5 years after the dinner, I met someone. Rebecca, a tech journalist who interviewed me for a profile piece. Sharp. Funny. No patience for ego. We fell in love slowly. Carefully. Both of us carrying baggage. One night, lying in bed, she asked about my family. I told her everything. The whole story. She listened quietly, then said, "Do you regret walking out?" Sometimes, I admitted, not because I was wrong, but because it's lonely. What about Daniel? Your mum? Daniel's trying. We text occasionally. Grab coffee twice a year. It's not what we were, but it's something. Mum and I have dinner every few months. Awkward but healing. And your father? Nothing. He tried reaching out a few times after the hospital. I didn't respond. Some things are too broken to fix. Rebecca kissed my forehead. You did what you needed to do. That takes courage. Or selfishness. It's not selfish to protect yourself from toxic people, even if they are family. Family is supposed to be everything. No, she said firmly. Family is supposed to be the people who love you unconditionally. Blood doesn't guarantee that. Sometimes your real family is the one you choose. I thought about Tom, Aunt Claire, Rebecca, the kids in my scholarship program. She was right. My real family wasn't the one I was born into. It was the one I built. Today, 7 years after that birthday dinner, I sit in my office. Tech Insight manages $3 billion in assets. My personal net worth hit $50 million. But that's not what matters. The scholarship fund has put 400 students through university. Amira, that girl from the first ceremony, just launched her own tech startup. She sends me updates constantly. Daniel runs a successful nonprofit. He's engaged. Happy. We have lunch every month now. It's not perfect, but it's real. Mom's design business is thriving. She won an award last year. First time I saw her genuinely proud of herself. Dad sends cards on my birthday. I don't respond. Maybe someday. But not yet. Maybe never. And I'm okay with that. Rebecca and I are expecting our first child. A girl. We are naming her Rose. Sometimes people ask if I regret the confrontation. If I wish I'd handled it differently. The answer's complicated. Do I wish my family hadn't failed me? Of course. Do I wish I'd been loved unconditionally? Every day. But would I change walking away? No. That moment of standing up, of naming the truth, of refusing to accept less than I deserved, that freed me. Not immediately. Freedom came slowly. Through therapy. Through building something meaningful. Through choosing people who chose me back. The revenge part? That was just a catalyst. The real transformation came after. When I stopped defining myself by their rejection and started building my own definition of success. Here's what I learned. Family dysfunction isn't your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Cutting toxic people out isn't cruel. It's survival. Success is the best revenge, but only if you're building it for yourself, not to prove them wrong. Forgiveness is possible, but it's not required. And it doesn't mean reconciliation. Some bridges are meant to burn. That doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who values their peace. The people who truly love you will celebrate your success, not resent it. And sometimes, the greatest act of strength is walking away from people who will never see your worth. My name is Marcus Mitchell. I was never good enough for them, but I was always enough for me. And in the end, that's the only validation that matters. If you've been underestimated, dismissed, or betrayed by the people who should have protected you, this is for you. You're not alone. Your worth isn't determined by their blindness. Build your empire. Create your family. Define your success. And when the moment comes to walk away from toxicity, do it without guilt, because the life waiting on the other side of that door, it's worth every painful step. Sometimes losing them is the only way to find yourself.